Thank you for joining us at xm.com for this Forex Preview video. We'll be having a look at Eurozone inflation out this week and, of course, the outlook for the euro. I'm Cristina Marujos. Joining me today is lead investment analyst Rafi Boyatian. Rafi, great having you with me. The flash estimates for May inflation are due out of the Eurozone on Tuesday, and these, of course, will be closely watched by ECB policymakers as they prepare to raise interest rates for the first time in more than a decade. Therefore, what should we expect in the numbers?
Well, Christina, inflation in the euro area did hold steady in April at 7.4%, but it is expected to have accelerated again in May, likely rising to 7.7%. That would mark, of course, another all-time high for the data series, and it would also add pressure on policymakers to get the ball rolling with starting the normalization process, which the ECB is well behind other central banks. However, there might be some good news with the underlying measures of inflation, as these are expected to have steadied a little in May. Having said that, both underlying measures of inflation that the ECB pays close attention to when it comes to setting policy are already well above the ECB's comfort zone. So the overall picture that inflationary pressures remain elevated won't change from the May readings. And when you consider the fact that energy prices have been edging higher recently and there's still no prospect of peace in Ukraine, and on that note, it's worth pointing out that the EU is trying to impose new sanctions on Russian oil. The ECB has to take action to try and stem the surge in prices.
Well, turning to the euro now, the single currency has rebounded quite strongly against the US dollar during May, in part due to the growing expectations that the European Central Bank will finally join other central banks in the global tightening cycle. How much of an impact do you think the data will have on the ECB's decision-making ahead of the June 9th policy meeting?
So the ECB has been slowly laying the groundwork for liftoff for some time now, and we've had some pretty clear signals from President Lagarde as to how they're going to go about ending QE and beginning lifting interest rates. It's looking almost certain now that in June they will announce an end to their asset purchases by early July and flag a rate hike at the late July meeting. The only part of this plan that investors have some doubt about is the size of the first rate hike. Now, it's highly unlikely that Lagarde would back a 50 basis points rate hike for the first rate increase in July, but a lot of the hawks within the ECB have not ruled out such a move. So should we get stronger than expected numbers, we could see those odds push higher, and that would in turn add more positive momentum behind the euro, at least in the short term.
Remains to be seen. Rafi will keep on top of the data, of course. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching this Forex Preview here at xm.com.